F2014. As for today, I am going to discuss about the hottest topic that being spoken among the people, which is LGBTQ community. In all honesty, this topic is not a taboo topic. The concept of LGBTQ plus community is an initialism that L stands for lesbian, G stands for gay, B stands for bisexual, T stands for transsexual, and Q stands for questioning, and the plus is other relationships such as non-heterosexuality relationship. Non-heterosexuality relationship is consists of asexual, pansexual, non-binary, and etc. Lesbians, gays, transsexual and bisexual are more likely to face the intolerance, harassment, discrimination and threat of violation due to their sexual orientation. So here I like to point out some points. Mistreating or giving hate towards the LGBT community isn't going to give any good things or gain any advantages. It is actually clashing with the human rights. LGBTQ community people are also a human being with 2 legs, 2 hands and with the body and with the face. They should be loved, valued, cared for and accepted by the people without being biased just because their sexual orientation is different. Fun fact, if a person is involved in LGBTQ community, they will get beaten up by cane or sentenced for jail 3 to 4 years. I mean, come on, they are human beings too. Just because the peoples are not straight, they are getting punished. But then, these pedophiles, rapists, serial killers are wandering around without getting punished or looked after. I mean, nice to hear, right? To be honest, I don't understand the concept here. Are these homophobic people are trying to hunt down the innocent LGBTQ people just because their sexual orientation is different despite the hate thrown towards them? What are these people trying to do or say? Are these people trying to lead them to a normal life? Let me ask you something real quick. What are these homophobic people are going to do when they found out that even in animal and plants habitat consists of homosexuality? Yes, I am stating the fact that has been proven by the science. Among the plants, the heterosexuality happens because they are changing their gender through their flowers. In this case, if a human change their gender to a boy to a girl or vice versa, they will get bullied or get hate. Not only that, if a plant is stressed, it will change to heterosexuality. In here, I like to say something. If you are a human, you can be even a senile human or LGBTQ or normal human. You will get stressed too. In this case, if a person is fed up or stressed with the relationship they have with the opposite sex, they tend to change their perspective and jump on to date the other sex. Just because they could not cope up and be comfortable with dating the opposite sex, they change their perspective and date the same sex people to be comfortable and more be free. Recently, there was an issue in Malaysia that LGBTQ community should be banned or vanished from this country. But then, the Selangor Sharia law has granted the permission that the LGBTQ community can be here in Malaysia. I have inserted the proof of the picture here. Let us see the problems they are facing in their life to come out.
Hi, my name is Shavita and my matrix number is 08TEU20F2005. Today I am going to talk about the reasons why LGBT happens. The first one is problems of homelessness. 40 to 50% of the homeless youth living on New York City streets identify as LGBT. Most domestic violence shelters do not accept gay men or transgender people. Family housing in the shelter system across the country is not available for homeless same-sex couples. Homeless LGBT youth are without economic support, often engage in drug use and risky sexual behaviors, and often develop mental health disorders. Second is harassment of LGBT students in schools. Nowadays, LGBT students face harassment in schools. 31.7% of LGBT students missed a class in the past month because of feeling unsafe. Over 4,000 gay, straight aliens are registered with GLSEN. So, these clubs provide a safe space for the LGBT students in their school. Too many LGBT students find it hard to speak up about harassment because it is so embedded in our culture. LGBT harassment is one of the last forms of harassment that is still allowed in popular culture. The only thing teenagers should worry tremendously about in school is learning the material presented. It is not harassment. Following that, another reason we can tell that poor economic condition and discrimination in the workplace. Discrimination directly causes job instability and high turnover, resulting in greater unemployment and poverty rates for gay and transgender people. In many cases, LGBT people earn less than their heterosexual counterparts. Economist Lee Budget notes that LGBT people do not earn more than heterosexual people. The conclusion and necessary recommendation is LGBT individuals who basically have different sexual orientation face discrimination and often obstacles to satisfy their needs. People have multiple layered identities and are members of more than one community at the same time. Simultaneously experiencing oppression and privilege, LGBT organizers and groups are increasingly drawing connections between the movement for LGBT rights and the campaign for racial and economic justice. Thank you. That's all from me.
Hi, my name is Arvind, son of Mukaya, and my metric number is 08DEU20F2016. I am going to talking about the impact of LGBT pupils in their life. First is health impact. 78% of homosexual offenders infected with sexual transmitted diseases. The average age of gay is 42 years old and decreases 39 years old if AIDS victims from the gay group are included. While the average age of the normal and married man is 75 years old. The average age of lesbian is 45 old, while the average married woman and normal is 79 years old. The second impact is education impact. The impact of education includes students who consider themselves as gay facing the problem of dropping out of school 5 times greater than normal students because they feel insecurity, and 28% of they are forced to leave school. The third impact is security impact. The resulting security impact is even more astounding. Homosexual people cause 33% of sexual abuse towards children in the United States, whereas the population is only 2% of the total American population.
Hi, sorry, my face looking small at the seat. I'm Lavanya Karunakaran, matrix number 08DEU20F2018. Would like to tell you a story about a girl who wants to change herself as a transgender, that is, as a man. This girl scrolls online to buy clothes on Deepavali. Her sister appeared and showed her selection. She insisted on buying it. The girl in the washroom looked at her body and screamed because she didn't like herself. Her sister forced her to wear woman's clothes. After her sister left the room, she threw the shirt because she didn't like it. She finds her favorite clothes in the closet. After that, she decided to cut her hair off, and she appeared as a transgender in front of her sisters. Her sister did not agree with the decision, and let's see how a transgender can overcome this kind of problems. Let's go! It's important that cisgender and transgender people work together to support transgender people and issues and to end transphobic harassment and discrimination. Support is important. Transgender people are more visible in the media and in our society than ever before. Transgender communities are fighting for equal rights. While great progress has been made, there's still a lot of work to do to make sure everyone feels safe expressing their true gender identity and are given the same rights as cisgender people. Far too many transgender people are negatively affected by transphobia. Transphobia can result in violence and even murder. It can also result in depression, substance abuse, self-harm, and suicide. A 2011 survey conducted by the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force and National Center of Transgender Equality showed that 41% of trans people had attempted suicide as compared to 1.6% of the general population. It's important that everyone, cisgender and transgender, work together to create communities that are welcoming trans and gender non-conforming people. Everyone deserves to live in a world free of violence and discrimination, including those whose gender identity and expressing doesn't match their assigned sex. Everyone can play a part in supporting transgender people and making communities safer and more inclusive.